Another episode of Real Talk 2 Seasons podcast. We've got another episode for you guys. This is absolutely amazing episode. We've got Queen B, just to be able to share her story and everything. So before we get started, you know what to do. Share. Get on the likes, get on the comments. If there's anything that you want to ask us throughout the show, we're going to make sure that we have at least a little bit of a segment where we can actually digress and talk about some of these topics and some of the issues that we was talking about. So please, guys, make sure you share. But most importantly, first and foremost, Queen B, welcome to the show. Welcome. The aspiration. So let's start, because it starts really from the beginning. So let's start from the beginning. Like, where would it be for you to start your story from the beginning? But one of the things that stood out for me was he was locked in a cupboard. What?
Yeah, so basically, on my channel, I did my story about my mum and my childhood, me growing up, being in a separated, broken family. My mum was abusive to me. She, from a young age, my mum had me at the age of 15, so she was young herself. She was pregnant at 15, gave birth at 16, and she didn't know about mothering, but she continued to be that way until my age now. So when I was young, it would be things like getting beaten, being told I wasn't good enough. I had to sort out the washing, had to clean the house. I'd go to my nan's house and she'd see bruises on my body and take me to social services. Wow. It was a lot for me.
What was your age at the time? How old were you?
When it first started, I was about 5.
And even as you've been able to remember that, what kind of traumas did that start to put in you? Like, even hearing you're not worth it or you can't do that. How did that start to play on you in the sense of?
On a lot of weight. I had I went up to a size 22.
Wow.
I'm now a size 12 to 14, sometimes 16 on the top. But I used to eat a lot. I used to self-harm. I used to just, every time I looked at myself, I didn't feel good enough. I would look at myself like, ugh. And then I would, instead of having an eating disorder where I wouldn't eat, I would eat more. There was binge eating. I would binge eat.
Yeah. Was it for comfort? Was it your only comfort, the only?
I felt happy when I was eating and things like that. Like when I used to cut myself as well, it wasn't like, oh, I want to kill myself. I want to die. It was more of, you're not good enough. You deserve this kind of pain, kind of thing. That's what.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of thing. So it wasn't like, oh, I just want that. It was near enough in the sense of, you deserve this.
Yeah.
You don't deserve anything good. You deserve, to be big. You deserve to, be in pain.
Yeah, that's what.
And that's a strong process. And how old was you when you was cutting yourself in the sense of going through that thing?
11, 12. Yeah.
12, you were in secondary school and all the rest of it. So did you feel at the time that you had any support, or did you have friends at that time? Was you quite unpopular or popular? What played the parts, and was it just isolation in the sense of you feel like you had no one around you?
I never spoke about it to my friends. I spoke about it to my nan and people like that. But when it came to them trying to help me, I would defend my mum. I would hide from my mum. I would, because in my head is, my mum always told me I'll just get taken away. Do you understand? I'll get taken away.
Yeah, straight.
Siblings. I would tell people what's happening, and then I would see my friends at school, and I'm like, well, this is happening with them, and they're allowed to do this, and their parents are allowed to, this isn't what happens at my house. So then I started to just rebel. That was it. Then I started to run away. I just started to. I just had enough. I just had enough. I kept running away. I didn't want to live in care, but I didn't want to live at home. So.
So even at that stage, was it also the pain of slicing your wrist, and was the beating still continuing in the sense of that's the reason why you ran away? Was you like, you know what, I'm gonna leave here, but I don't want to be in care. I don't want to, because obviously it's a pressure on your mum, because obviously you still slightly have a slight sense of love and a loyalty towards your mother. So I'm sure that you didn't also want to go into care because you didn't want to obviously put her in harm's way in the sense of how she might feel and all the rest of it. So that's a tough thing for a young teenager.
Mm-hmm. Well, when it was happening, the beating became normal to me. It was just something to a point, my mum used to hit me and I used to go, is that the best you've got? I don't care no more. It doesn't hurt. I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't. And that was when my mum would she would punch now. It was because you're beating me with things and it doesn't bother. She would lock me in my bedroom. I had to like bang on my door to go to the toilet. And then one day I escaped, and I remember like this feeling on my shoulders, like when someone says a weight lifted off your shoulders. I felt like that. Like it was horrible.
So like, even in that case scenario, was that the first time you ran away? When like you got out your room? Like, when was the first time you decided to go, and how long did you go for?
I was in secondary school. I ran away to my friend's house. We're still friends to this day. She lived on my road. But little did I know, she was going through a similar situation. Do you understand? So that's why we clicked as well. It was like, and then I ran away to her house, and she used to say like, "Mum, please adopt her," like adopt her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when I ran away, it was, my dad was like, what's going on kind of thing. And it just came out. And then from that day, the first time I ever ran away, it was like, that was the next step for me to go into care. After that, I went into care.
Okay. And when you said, you just mentioned your dad, how comes you didn't go to your dad? How comes you went into care?
I did go to my dad, but because when I was younger, my mother used to portray my dad as this bad person. So my dad would never badmouth my mum. Yeah. He never spoke on anything that happened between him and my mum until I was 18 years old. Wow. So in my head, it's my mum's telling me you're this, you're that, you're this, and you're not defending yourself, so you look like the bad guy. In my
absolutely.
So I started to hate my dad and like resent my dad, and then I was just like, okay, so you've moved me from this place where I'm being abused to putting me with someone I hate, and I just rebelled there as well. So it was like my dad's just like, I don't know what more to do. Like basically, like there's no point. I just kept running away from there.
So, and then how old was you then before? How long did you stay with your dad for? Was it like a couple of months? Like
a couple of months. I was about 13, and from then I went into care.
It's even like a transit, and you're still going through school, right?
No, I finished school. I've done school. I'm finished. I work part time.
So at 13. So no, like what I'm saying, when you went to
sorry, my apologies. No,
yeah, so when you first went to the care, was you still like obviously transferring, still having to go to school?
I used to travel East London to South London to go to school. So I used to wake up at 6 in the morning and go to school to Sydenham, Beckenham.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why so far?
Because I lived in Sydenham at the time. I was brought up in Lewisham Borough. I was obviously there, and they literally, one day I was at my mum's and the next day I was at my dad's. So it was like you're either going to move school, and I had already moved school because I went to another school prior to that. Yeah. So like I've moved from this school, I've moved to this school, and now you're going to move me again. I don't want to move. Like
Lisa, yeah, and that was the only probably structure that did have, right?
Right.
And you've got friendships, friends, people that you know. So to be able to not have mum, not have dad, and then move somewhere like, and then have a new school, that's a lot of pressure. So you started obviously traveling from East to school. Did you finish out the rest of your school? Like what was the rest of that period like, and what was your foster parents like in that kind of sense?
Because I was such a messed up kid, I didn't understand life. Like I only understood life. I know it sounds crazy once I became a mother. Like I still don't understand life, but it's like I understood it a lot better than I did. Then I just felt like everyone was against me. No one could love me. So every placement I went into, it just broke down because I was just like, you can't care for me because my own mum can't care for me. Like so I would break things. I would have tantrums. Like I would get mad. Like I just was a messed up kid.
So like when was the because it sounds like it's a tough. So when was the process in the sense of, you know, like you said, going through school, all the rest of it, like was there still like harming throughout that time as well? Was you still self-harming? Was you still like, you know, going through certain things? Like what?
It slowed down a lot. It calmed down a lot, but it didn't stop until I was about 16, I think. Once things didn't seem so bad when I was 16. It was like, this is my life. I've been in care for how many years? Like you're gonna get your flat when you're 18. Like that's how I was like, this is what it's gonna be now. Like I came to accept the fact that this is my life. Do you know what I mean? Like this is how.
Even though you knew there was a process and you're gonna get was it a lonely process? Because obviously that's quite a lonely process to sit there and say, I'm in care. Like by the time I get to 18, I'm gonna have a house and this is my life. You know.
Very lonely. I didn't speak to my mum the whole time. I saw my mum about 4 times whilst I was in care. I didn't speak to my siblings. She didn't let me speak to my siblings, not because of my own choice. It was because of her, obviously. It was a very lonely process. If I didn't have my nana, which is my dad's mother, I don't know what I would have done, because I had literally no one.
It seemed like she was literally the only positive, or if not the only Semitic woman you had at the time.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. And you spoke a little bit about, in the sense of when we spoke before, and about the grooming side and the sexual side. Tell me a little bit more about how that played a part.
So from young, I've been quite developed. I had to wear, I got my first training bra at 9. I started my period at 9, so I was young. So I've always had I've had a chest, I've had curves, I've had shape to me, and I've always had grown men hit on me, even in front of my mother, and it's quite bad. So then people used to compare my mum's husband and me as girlfriend and boyfriend, because my mum's husband's quite younger than her. So and then it got a bit at certain times we would go out, and we went to Fort Park once, and I remember I was getting in the ride and he slapped my bum, and then he started to drive in his car in his boxers, and I told my mum, and she was just like, you're lying, basically, you're chatting rubbish, you're a liar.
That was the first aspect of it. And even how did you feel at the time, even when you slapped your bum? How old was you then? Did you kind of
I was about 13 or 12. This was just this is whilst I was still going through my little phase, if you
phase, and it's of course, absolutely,
phase. And I didn't, when he did it, I didn't say nothing. I was quite confused. I was shocked. I was like, huh? I thought maybe it was an accident, And when we got in the car, and then he took his trousers off, and he was just sitting there, and I was just like, and my mum actually saw him putting up his trousers, so that's what she was like, why are you doing that? And then I said, because he was driving, and then she was like, no, you're lying. And I was like, but you've literally just seen what. Do you understand?
Do you think that she was in a little bit of denial at that time, and not probably wanting to believe the process and what she probably saw? Because 9 times out of 10, you just generally don't want to believe it. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of if it's true or not. So were there probably aspects of that where she just genuinely probably didn't believe it, or did she actually, in your eyes, believe it?
I don't think she was ever. She makes out that I'm a liar all the time. That's the thing. I've always been the black sheep, the bad child, the one that always kicks off, the one that always is just. I feel like I'm just the misunderstood one. I'm just the misunderstood one. But yeah.
So did that continue with him? Was that did it stop there after him putting down the trousers and?
It was after that. Once I think he saw that, because his face went into bright. When he saw that I was vocal, because I'm a very vocal person, I felt like he knew that I was one of them children you couldn't kind of do it to. Children you can prey on, and you know that if that does happen to them, they're going to speak. And I felt like as soon as he's done that, and I've said, well, hold on a minute, he was just doing that, he knew kind of this can't happen kind of thing. So he started to distance himself. That's why me and him, we don't talk. We've not spoken in years. He will never say a word to me.
It's very, very and I feel like a lot of girls go through sometimes trauma. Dad's not in the house, mum's got a boyfriend, and them having that attribute where they're preying on you or looking at you or saying certain slightly little comments, and you having to be strong enough to say, no, this is actually wrong. And then also be able to go to mummy, that's another strength, to be able to say, listen, the guy that you so please love might be making some partial moves at me. And I would say to anyone, when your children say certain things, 100%, please listen to what they are saying. And I hate the fact that sometimes that we don't look into these kind of situations when they actually occur. We always wait for the problem to happen, and then we look dumbfounded, act upon it,
Yeah, because when I got into care, I was sexually groomed by one of my care workers. And when it did happen, I didn't want to speak on it, because I was like, I'm just going to be told I'm a liar. I saw someone that was in my house recently, and we hadn't seen each other for 6-7 years. And even he said to me, the things that they did in that house, them workers should have never worked there. The man was about 35.
This was actually at your care work. This was actually someone that meant to be supporting.
Yeah, I lived in a care home in Tulse Hill. He worked there, he was about, I would say about 35. Like he was about 35 and I was 15. And he used to drive me and the other girl around. We would like smoke weed in his car. He would bring us weed. Like he would let us stay up because they would lock down the house. And then like there was a room next door to my room, and that's where he would sexually assault me.
And even when that kind of happened and everything, you said that, you know, people thought you was a liar and all that kind of stuff. Was there no one that you felt like you could tell at the time? Did you not feel like you could go to the police?
To be honest, the way I was grown up, because I've grown in South, like I'm from South, and I'm from the as you would say, the hood in that. So we've always, well, I've always been taught like you don't go to the police, like unless it's like, do you know what I mean? Like for death, do you know what I mean? It's like you don't go to the police, you deal with it yourself, and that's now I would turn around and say rape, child abuse, domestic violence, paedophilia, anything like that is acceptable to go to the police at any age, at any time. And I would encourage anyone to do it, especially children, because it's better than telling someone else that, you know, that might not believe you. And, you know, if you make that claim to the police, they always have to take your word seriously. Do you know what I mean?
So even when that was happening inside the hostel and everything, how did that continue, and when did it stop?
It didn't stop until I left.
How long was you in there for?
I was there for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah. 2 years.
Then, like throughout the sexual and everything, was there also was he like, obviously because he's getting you reading everything, was there also other things that he was trying to make you do criminal wise, stuff like that, or was it just
criminal that, but like obviously just him alone, obviously bringing us weed, you know what I mean? He's we're going to his friend's house to smoke, we're chilling with older men, do you understand? So it's like,
what you're talking about, he's actually a professional. So one, he shouldn't even be smoking weed. Two, he should be actually taking care and making sure you guys are feeling supported. And this is what I'm trying to say, 9 times out of 10 we are seeing our young people being abused by authorities, being abused by people that's actually in power, the people that we look at and say, you're the one that's going to support me. You're the one that's going to take care of me. So even you going through that situation and being 15, it must have been dumbfounded, because it's like you said, like a part of it, like, is this right? Because you should be supporting me, and there is an element of young girls and all the rest of it, that a little bit of an older guy showing you a little bit of attention. You might perk up a little bit, but for him as an adult that knows that you're 15 and you need that right guidance, and I'm supposing like he's seen your report file and everything, that even lets me know of how much what you were saying earlier in the sense of the grooming aspects that he was doing. Do you know what I mean? And it's very, very important to share that message and everything. And for me, for your process then, what was it that allowed you to, once you move from that area, what allowed you to say, do you know what, I need to start my life different. I need to take back that power, because it seems like you was allowing everybody else to have your power because you was frightened to slightly speak up. But when did you take that power? When did you say, even now, when did you get that power back to say, I've had enough, this is who I am, and I'm going to speak on things that I feel I shouldn't do, things that I should do?
Only recently. Like, that's what I'm saying. I've literally like allowed people to mistreat me. I've not, like, self-love has gone out the window until literally within the last 2 years. Like, I wouldn't have, the last 23 years of my life, I've literally thought, like, whatever, life is what it is. If I die tomorrow, I die tomorrow. If I'm here, I'm here. I just take it.
Even explain that a little bit. What do you mean? Like how was your life then? If you say so, you didn't care if you ever died. What was that kind of?
I didn't have no self-love. I didn't have no worth. I didn't feel like I was worth anything. Like, now I'm a mum. I have 2 children. Like, I'm an amazing, sorry, I don't mean to get teary, but I'm an amazing person. And it's like, you allowed people to violate you. You've allowed people to trash you, tarnish you. You're here for a reason. You're a blessing. Do you understand? So it's like,
100%.
Take that back. Do you know what I mean? Take that back. Like, don't allow anyone to, do you know what I mean? Imagine if someone's doing this to your daughter. Like, and that's how I've seen it. Like, you can't allow no one to mistreat you. You can't allow to make anyone feel you like you're less than. And that's what I want all these young girls to know as well, because everyone thinks nowadays it's about, flashing tits and doing this, twerking on that, and you've got to be doing all these mad things at a young age. It's not about that. It's about loving yourself, respecting yourself, and carrying yourself in a type of way where you can be the best person you can be. Because if you don't love yourself, nobody's going to, you understand? And it took me, like I said, 23 years to understand that. So that's
23 years. And no, bless you, because this is real. This is why it's real talk truth. It's so real. And just to even hear you say that in the sense of how important is it, even for these young girls that's going to be listening, in the sense of healthy relationships with men, because it seems like a lot of girls, like you said earlier, like go through that, you know, feeling that they have to be skimpy, pushing their breast out there, feeling like they have to do certain things on the gram. Like, how important is that self-love and having healthy relationships with men?
Do you know what I've always said? I said, I wish they teach it in school. I wish they taught self-love in schools, because it is so important. It's more important than maths, I think. And because if you don't love yourself, if you like, you can't be anything great. You know what I mean? I don't believe you can be great if you don't love yourself. You can't be the best of your ability. You can't be. Everyone will walk over you. You can never be the highest or the best you can be until you love yourself. You're always gonna have, you know, little flaws or whatever. That's life. No one's perfect. You know what I mean? But it's about accepting and knowing your flaws and, you know, correcting them whilst you move. And do you know what I mean? That's what I think. The young girls, they need to definitely take more self-loving, because it's embarrassing what you see. They're in relationship with boys that don't care. They're making them hold drugs, hold this, do that. Love yourself. Got older men. Like,
have you been through that experience where you've gone through that, where, you know, you've held drugs for boys and you know, feel like, you know what, I'm doing it because he loves me and all the rest of it, and he's gassed you up, and you've realized that he was just trying to get a gain?
Yeah, I actually did a story about it on my channel. I was with a guy, and I didn't find that. He told me I was 16 at the time. He told me he was 19, and I found out 10 months later he was 23. So like, this is what I was saying the other day when I was speaking with my friend. All I've known is older men. Older men have always gone, and it's like, I've told the truth about my age. Normally it's that me that's meant to lie about.
To be lying. Yeah, so the younger girls do like so you're even saying to me, you've been telling them the truth and everything, and it seems to be these guys that are lying about their age, because they look at you in the sense of you look much more older than what we've now just said. And is that something that where they feel like you're lying to say that? Or as any other guys have been like, oh, you're just lying, or try to force your age a little bit higher?
But I'm cheeky. Like, I would be like, I don't need to lie. My birthday, 1996. Like, I just, do you know what I mean? I don't. Yeah. If I was like, I'm quite cheeky like that. But once they know, it's never an incident of, oh, she's misled me with her age, or no. It was, you told me you was 19. I found out he was 23, and then like, yeah, he would like, obviously I'd be in the band, the trap house, whatever you would call it, and yeah, I was doing crazy things. But that was when I was like 16, about 16, 17. And then one day I think the police was outside and I was scared from that day, and I was like, yeah, I'm not about this life. I'm not about it.
It's so interesting, because a lot of us, we ain't, and it's okay to say, I'm not about this life. I was scared. Like,
I'm not about it. The money's nice. Of course, the money's great. You know what I mean? But when the police are at your door and they're talking about a good 18 years, I can't do that.
So even just moving forward, before we move on to, like, you know, your achievements and the great stuff that you're doing, like, you know, you mentioned your kids a couple of times. So like, how young was you when you first had your first one?
My daughter is 7 now. So I was 17. I gave birth at 18. I was in care at the time still. I was still in care. And because I was in care, she automatically got a social worker. So then obviously I was in quite a toxic like relationship, and they put me in a mother and baby unit, and that was it basically. And yeah, they tried to take my baby, and it didn't happen.
So like, you had your little one, and like you said, was that a turning point, like you said, because it seems like you've got so much of passion for your kids when you was talking a little bit earlier. So, well, you know, having your first child, was this you now saying, I've got something, I've got ownership, I've got, you know, support, love, you know, power, everything that you felt that you didn't have? Did you feel that when you had your first one?
Yeah, when I first had her, the first thing that came into my head is I've got someone that's gonna love me unconditionally. That was my main thing, because I was so broken and I felt like I didn't have love from my mum, and I was just like, I've got this little thing that's gonna love me no matter what. Like, and it was, I knew as soon as I found out, I knew I was keeping her. It was no doubt about it. I was just like, yeah, I'm keeping you. Like, she made me a better person, 110%.
100%. And even when you were saying there, you said sort of like, you know, the relationship was toxic. Does that mean that, you know, you ended up doing it by yourself? Did you end up like, you know, raising the first little one like that?
I was in a mother and baby unit for the first year of my daughter's life, so I did that all by myself. Where I was being,
no support. So you, like, obviously sometimes it was Nana still around at that time, or was you just completely by yourself?
yeah, but I wasn't allowed to see no one. I was that thing. You're allowed out. I think 2 hours a day, and you have to book for people to come in, but they have to be like CRB checked and all of that. So it's quite. And my nan lives out of London, so this place was in Walthamstow. So for her, she lived like near Bognor Regis. I don't know if you know where that is.
It's far. I know where that is. Bognor Regis is high.
So to travel from there to here, it was a bit, you know what I mean? So, but she always kept phone contact and things like that. And she came down to the hospital as soon as I had the baby and things like that. But once I was in the mother and baby unit, I didn't really see anybody. You know, I didn't see anyone.
That's a bit frightening, like, you know, first time being a mother, newborn, you know, having to go through it all yourself, you know, the sleepless nights, you know, the worrying, are they breathing, are they sleeping? And they panic you when they do that, innit? You know, sometimes you're like, you know, you just keep checking. Are you
Yeah.
You're right. And then, you know,
vomiting on her milk and stuff. And she's like, yeah, they have to.
And you as a mother going through all of that, like, you know, that's tough, you know, and it's a true credit to you. And that's such a, you know, inspirational woman that you are, to know that you've gone through so much and didn't have the correct support around you, but still said, you know what, this is all the support that I need, because I'm here and I'm breathing. And as long as I'm breathing, my young person, my child is going to be getting everything that they need. So you was in that process, you've moved out that process, I'm assuming, and you know, you're on to your second born. Like, how did that come about, in the sense of, did you end up like meeting someone? Like, what was the transition to that?
Yeah, so my second born, it was with, I had my baby with, he was actually my friend. I've known him since I was 15. He actually knew me in my care home. We was friends prior. We had a baby. Yeah, like, it was just, yeah, nothing bad or anything like that. Just, yeah, co-parent, do what we have to do, really.
And he still does. He still co-parent. Like, he still does that.
Both my,
for both as well.
Yeah.
So is it the same father for both children?
No.
But he supports the old. See, that's 10-10, man. You can't. That's a really solid person when they're able to step in, and that's the first time I'm even hearing the sense of how easy was it for you to co-parent, because there's a lot of people that can't. You want to bicker and shout and, oh, you shut up, and you're taking them, and like how that process worked, because there's a lot of people right now that needs to know, because
sit here and laugh, but I tell you, because I don't catch a break. But my first daughter's dad was in jail for about 5 years for firearms. He came out this year, so he had her during the first 2-3 years of his life. He got 5 years. He did like 3.5 and came out. But obviously, with the co-parent on that part, it was hard, because I would take her to the jail because I know they was trying to deport him, which was also another. Do you understand? So it was like I had.
Yes.
Do you understand? And that's what people, because I was speaking with a guy about this, people think that loyalty is just not cheating. Loyalty is not just not cheating. It's about, even though me and you are not together, if it's a life or death situation, are you going to be there? And that's how I've always wanted to raise my child. Is I might not like you, I don't need to like you, but you're my daughter's father, and without you, there wouldn't be her. So
yeah. Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
And I feel like as long as you stay out of each other's business and just focus on the child, you're perfectly fine. You don't need to worry about what I'm doing. You don't need to worry about what he's doing. You know what I mean? It's just do what you got to do. Whoever I'm seeing, whoever you're seeing, you're seeing. And the only time it needs to be discussed is if you want to bring my child around that person. But other than that, absolutely, live your life. Call me if it's about your daughter. Call me if you want to see her. Not a problem, you know.
100%. And that's just such a positive outlook on the way of thinking, and even such a woman that, you know, even still at a nice tender, you know, young age, young adult, do you know what I mean? And you have that perspective. There's a lot of people that I know that's in 40s, 50s and still don't know how to make it work. Shut up, dickhead, race man. They're going at it, like, and I'm like you said, it's about the child. If it's about the child, like you said, pull up, this is for the child. You know, see your child if it's for the child, but don't make it about you two. And that's 9 times out of 10 what tends to happen in, and it shouldn't be that way. But second segment of the show is, you know, like, you know, how uplifting and empowering you are, man. You know, just even hearing your story and your ambition and everything. So tell us now, in the sense of your journey, your story, and what is your ambitions now? Like, what is it that you know, Queen B's trying to do? What's their adventures now?
Right. So obviously,
you get me. You get me. Like, see the lights popping and all that for you. Nails look like they're on fleek. And I said, all right, cool. So what's
you know what? Like, what do you want to do? Like, because you're doing YouTube, but what do you want to come from it? And it's like, I know it sounds crazy, and I always say this, but I want like an unfiltered ghetto edition of like Loose Women. You know what I mean? Like,
that would be banging. No, that would be banging. Hey, listen, guys, listen. I would love to do a show like that, because 9 times out of 10 we don't see the real shows. And I was even coming across in a similar way, in the sense of when I first started my live debates, I wanted it to be like Question Time. You know, the ones there when you know that all the politicians are standing there, people are in the audience, and I wanted to have that. That's like a little hood version, and we all get the real people up. You know, ones there, get these politicians and grill them. You know, ones there, grill them properly. And be like, you're a scumbag, bruv. You're not doing nothing for the community. Yeah. But yeah, that's amazing. So your overall goal to have a panel of women.
Yeah, like a panel. It could be women, men. It doesn't. Like, I feel like a panel of women that invite different type of people and like hot topics. Like, there's so many things that I've wanted to do, like on racial issues, on LBGT, loads of different things that I'll just, because they're very controversial. So some people don't like to be in them topics. But I feel like, yeah, a strong panel of women from all different ethnicities, sexualities, whatever, just so we can have all different perspectives and take over the world. Literally.
Well, furthermore, like, don't even stop there. Like, how do we get this popping? So obviously you've got a channel already. Ladies, there's a few of you guys, all ethnicities, it doesn't matter. You heard what she said. If you're ready to talk smack, yeah, you don't mind talking about controversial topics, make sure that you get down to, like, give them your page so they can DM you, whatever.
On my Instagram, it's Queen Bougie _. I put it in the app there. The name.
The name's there. You know it's there. Somewhere you'll be there.
I reply as well. I'm not rude. I'm not like these other people. Oh, I'm too nice to answer to you. No, I reply. Give me time, though.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So that's one element that you want to do. You know, creating the show, continue the YouTube channel and everything. What else is it that you're inspiring to do? What is it that you're doing right now that you know that you can say to other women that you know you've inspired yourself? Because you've got such much of a great story. So tell us a little bit about the inspiration that you now have to do certain things.
You know what it is even if I just inspire one woman, like one girl, change one girl's life, because they're messaging me and they're like, oh, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and I generally try and help them. I've been on phone calls to some of my subscribers, do you know what I mean? I've called them and I've literally sent them emails for things to help them. I try and help them as much as I can. And
you're doing the grassroots work.
That's what because I don't want to be on the internet known as, oh, the girl that's always on the blogs for mix up, or I want to be that girl that's like, wow, she left her mark on this earth and she helped me, like she actually made a difference. Like, I know that I can be in care and I can be messed up, or I could have mental health, or I can be from nothing and I can actually amount to something great. I don't have to end up in jail. I don't have to end up a statistic. I don't have to end up another child that's committed suicide, or do you know what I mean? You don't have to end up like that. It's life. Things happen to you.
Because we were just saying that just like before we even come on the show, in the sense of how important is it to, you know, take back, you know, your story and like you just said there, in the sense of your experiences is so powerful for women, because there's a lot of voiceless women out there that are feeling exactly the same as you, going through a similar process and feeling like there is no way out, you know, feeling like, what do I do? I'm in a situation where no one doesn't care. I don't feel loved. You know, people tell me I'm not going to amount to anything. People are saying to me, you know, like, no one's not going to believe you. So, you know, having that no self-love, no power, to be able to have a woman like you and be able to look at you and say, she's gone through similar process, and I can see that she loves herself, she's happy, she's vibrant. It's very, very important, and your experience, it just goes without saying, like you're changing the world now. I know that you're changed so many women's life right now in this life. Do you know what I mean? Sort of kind of thing. So,
and if any women do feel like that, and like, you know, because there is women that do feel suicidal, and I always say it in my channel, like, please, before you ever, if you do anything stupid, feel to do anything, please do message me, because that is never the answer. I also like to like try and show women different ways on how to channel that insecurity or that moment of weakness. Do you know what I mean? I have my moments. Do you know? I take antidepressants. I might not look it. Do you know what I mean?
No, but this is real. This is real.
This is life. Do you know what I mean? Certain days you are gonna feel like I can't do this and I'm not worth anything. But it's about getting yourself up. You know what I mean?
Picking yourself back up. But even you being real and saying that you're like, what keeps you? Like, how do you keep yourself picking up? Is it music? Like, do you meditate? Like, do you just start talking to yourself? Because I'm not gonna lie, I give myself positive affirmations. I love it. I'm in the mirror like, you're amazing, you're great, you're a big deal, you're amazing. I'm all in the mirror doing that mad thing. You know what I'm saying? I start putting on one of my favorite tracks is what's his name, Burner Boy. Yeah. I'm in the room like, but I have to give myself self-love, because I always believe that no matter how much people are out there that will support you, that will say you're great, that will say you're not great, the person that needs to make sure that I know I'm great is me. And it's very, very important. So what is some of the methods that you use to keep uplifted, to keep positive, you know, to take care of the two beautiful kids that you have?
Well, sometimes obviously music is I love music. Like, music is the words I can't say. Do you understand? Like, sometimes I sabotage myself a bit because I'll be playing sadder music to make myself cry, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, sometimes we do that. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes we do that. Sometimes I can't help it. Sometimes if I'm listening to music, I might even throw on a too slow jam, and I'm like, rain down on me. I'm like, why am I listening to this? I'm all getting sad. I'm like, rain down, rain on me. I'm all feeling sorry for myself. Lights off, candles are on. I'm doing that thing. Candles are on, lights are off. You know the moody ones there, TV's off. Feeling sorry for yourself and everything. But sometimes music can bring that out of you. So like you said, music, what is other things that you do?
Well, I dance around in my room. I know it. Like, I put my AirPods in and I just dance. Like, I sing with the top of my voice. Then depends what energy I'm in. Like, then certain times I might just run a bath, put some bath.
Yeah. Bath salts.
Little bubble things, bath bombs, and I'm, you know, put a little that. So it just depends. Sometimes I write in a journal. It just depends on how I feel.
Beautiful. So is that something that you do as well? Because I always believe in that. You know, I'm very, very.
Yes, I write in a
creative writing. I love to write down my thoughts and stuff like that, because it's another form of therapy for me and everything. So how important is it as well, that journal, like that you feel like, is it a clear sense of, sometimes, you know, when sometimes you have it in your mind and it seems so big, and then you put it down in your paper and you're like, oh, okay. A couple of lines, you know what's there? I made it like it was like a whole book in my mind, you know what's there? It's a couple of lines, Chris, it's a couple of lines. It's not that deep, but sometimes you just need to get it out, because we've got so much things, especially like with creative people like yourself. When you're constantly thinking and you've got so much things going on the go, before you know it, the brain starts to explode if you don't actually try and jot them feelings and thoughts. So you say that you've got a journal, that's another great way of, you know, being able to honest.
And they don't cost a lot. Do you know what I mean? They don't cost a lot. You know, you can get a journal from a pound shop and a pen. Do you know what I mean? It's
100%.
And like I said, with the things to take care of yourself, like maybe even if you're feeling, there's days where I'll stay in bed all day and I'll watch, and that's like before I go to bed, I always try and watch something that's funny. So I like Friends and something that's gonna make sure I'm got Modern Family, Big Bang, something I know I'm going to laugh at, because it's like, if I'm gonna watch something that's all depressing and I'm gonna go to bed, I'm gonna dream about depressing stuff, and then I'm gonna wake up depressed. So it's just like,
I like that. And I'm a great believer in that. Do you know what I mean? Watching stuff that, you know, because we all know, you know, like you will watch a horror movie and you're going to bed and it's a mad thing. I'm laying in my bed and I look up at it's just a door, Chris, and your jacket's hanging on it. But right now, looks like two demon trying to pee around the corner. I'm like, what's that now? I've got the little lamp light on, looking like a side salad, like I'm on a 12, because I can't go to sleep now. It's a mad thing. You know what I'm saying? You know that there was a film that came out years ago. I think it was Ring or something like that. You watch it and the phone rings. Listen, mad thing, not on it. You know what I'm there? I was had nightmares for time. I said, Dad, you know what? That's it. I started watching Family Guy. I was like, yeah, Family Guy. You know what I'm there? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch some cartoons. You know, I started watching Power Rangers. You know what I'm there? Yeah, don't play around. But that is very, very important. I like the fact that you said using certain elements in the sense of your mind. Your mind is very, very, very powerful. And if you haven't as well, guys, also meditation music. I like to listen to sometimes sounds, ocean, water, rainforest. You know what? It's a bit mad. Don't get it twisted. You're like, round, like man's making. It's a mad thing. It takes a little bit of while to get used to, but if you can get into it, it's quite soothing. It's quite soothing as well. Okay, and is there anything else you would throw in there that you do to mellow yourself out? That's a anyway. I'm not gonna lie. You got the bath. You know what is there? The music, the dancing, journal.
Walks. I didn't used to do that, but like my friend told me to go for walks and just clear your mind. Like go for walks.
100%.
And it does help. Like just take deep, like focus on your breathing, deep, like make sure your mind's blank. That's the thing with meditation. Your mind has to be blank. Like it's so irritating, and it's difficult. But once your mind's blank, it's just like, you know, like just And if it's only for 2 seconds, then it's better than no seconds. Do you know what I mean? As long as you
100%. I love that. I love that. I would say in the sense of, you know, very uplifting and powerful story, you know, like in the sense of, and your journey still seems like it's continuing. That's what I love, do you know what I mean? And even the fact that you said a little bit earlier in the sense of the subjects or the topics that you want to touch on and stuff like that, it's so nice to see how transparent you are. How important is it for you to want to do these kind of shows or do these kind of talks of your experience? How important is it being transparent?
Well, if you're not transparent, you can't connect with nobody. No one can relate with you. No one can, you know, relate to your story. So I feel like being transparent is what people like, because there's too much of this fake stuff and sugar.
That's the reason why I got onto it, because I was like, I'm glad you said the fake stuff, because it's like no one's not doing. I'm being honest, no one's not doing what you're doing. You know, we get these pages and everyone's playing it off like they've got this real life. My life is perfect. My life is amazing. Nothing's happened to me. I've never been depressed. I've never had anxiety. I've never felt suicide. Like everyone walks around like it's not that. So that's why I said to you, like, how important is that transparency? Because we don't see it.
Because now what I'm seeing a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a lot of these people are being exposed for being fake. Do you understand? And it's like, there's only so long you can carry on with this facade. Like, if you don't love me for me, not everyone's gonna love me. Do you understand? And that's fine. Like, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. That is fine. But I'm true to myself, and that's all that matters. And as long as I'm transparent and I keep it 100 with me, and I stick to my truth, I can go far. So far, you can't. You can only fake so much.
Tell the fakers. Please, tell the fakers. All right, this is going to be the segment of the show where you are allowed to ask me or Ash any questions that you may have, things that we might have talking about, you know, issues, topics. You might even have an issue as well. Do you know what this segment is going to be? You know what it's there? Ask Chris and Queen, you know what it's there? Any dilemmas that you might have in your life, and we're going to try and resolve the problems. You know what it's there? We're going to resolve your problems right here, live and direct. If you have a problem, hit us up. And we've got you. So yeah, throw some questions in if you have any questions.
Real, the spot.
One question for Queen B. Does your mum have mental health issues?
She's never been diagnosed with, but personally, I think yes. I think so. Yeah, I feel like she has maybe split personality disorder or bipolar. Personally, really? Yeah, but she's never been diagnosed. No.
Never. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Come on. Love in the building. Anybody got any questions, dilemmas, or anything that they have? Trust me, such a real inspiration. There you go. She absolutely is. Real talk.
No, don't cry.
Don't cry now. Don't cry.
Stop it, guys.
But yeah, any questions, guys? Any questions that you guys might have for us, myself? This is the segment.
Oh.
You guys can ask questions, but no, thank you so much for like just even. I feel like a lot of people just gonna be able to digress into your story and understand that, you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel and there's always hope. But the hope starts from you. You know, sometimes we try and touch at others. You know, I need to be in a friendship, I need to be in a relationship. And what I've seen from your story is like, you know what, Chris, I had to grasp it myself. I had to love myself. I had to be me to realize that then now I can have relationships with others. Then I can understand about men. And then I can, I mean, but you have to understand you first. And I think that's so much important within your story, because a lot of us, 9 times out of 10, not in a bad way, don't know ourselves. We think that, but we don't know ourselves because we're so controlled about I need friendship, I need to go out, I need to rave, I need to do this. And we block out all these kind of things by doing things to not understand the real reality. And the real reality is lockdown gave us a real wake up call. You know, like when you woke up one morning, because I did it, I woke up, I was depressed. I woke up one morning and I said, wait a minute. I was sick of West. I was talking to myself. I was like, I'm sick of you. No one's there. I was talking to myself though. I was like, I'm sick of you. Like, I got to a stage where I just felt so like that conflicted in the sense of the way that we need to turn in everything. We've got another question. We're getting a signal. No one's there. I got a signal. How do you feel now that you've spoken and confronted yourself with the situation?
I don't. I feel like a bit of relief, like, but I don't. I'm still getting. I don't know how I feel. It's
mixed feelings. So, like, do you feel like you've taken a bit of back that power? Do you feel like a little bit of weight lifted off your shoulders? Like, how do you feel?
I feel like, obviously, like, no one can silence me. That's something that I feel. Well, that's something I know. No one can silence me, and no one can tell me my story isn't true, because it's my truth. It's my story. Yes. And certain days, do you know what? Certain days I feel like I'm over it. Do you know what I mean? And the next day, I'm not over it. And I've realized
that's powerful, though, Ashley, man. Don't even sleep on that because that's like people just expect us to just get over stuff. Get over it now. Like, it's like, no, some days I'm amazing and I'm feeling 10-10. And then some days, like you said, I'm laying in the bed and I just want to watch TV and I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling great, yeah? And I want to put up my hands today. And I think that's what's important about transparency, because if you're starting your page, let your people know that there's highs and lows. And that's what I let people know on my page. There's highs and lows. This is not all fairy tale. This is not all like, yeah, this is life. This is real life. And I'm going through a situation, do you know what I mean? And it's very, very important. I love it because it is you taking back your power. Come on, throw up them hearts. 100% taking back your power. And I believe that a lot of us are scared because a lot of us have got things that we worry about, like, oh, I don't want people to know this. I don't want people. Like, there was things when I was growing up, I didn't want people to know that I sold drugs. I didn't want people to know who my cousins was. I didn't want people to know that my family went down for murder and all these kind of things. And then one day I was like, you know what? That's it. They are my family. They are my cousins. I did used to sell drugs. I was on a desiree. I did, mess up in so many ways. But then now I said it, no one had anything to say against me. Everyone was like,
yeah, I know, now what? Like, it's like, yeah, I know, now what?
And what now?
And what?
Let's start talking about what I'm doing now then, because you don't know what to say about my past. Let's start talking about my future then. Let's start talking about my present. What am I doing now?
Yeah.
And it's an amazing story, an amazing journey in the sense of, yes, we can talk about taking back the power, but look at the power that you have and look what you're doing now. And that's the story that people need to hear. The power is you now. The power is in the present. The power is you showing to people like, look, I am here. And I'm making my footprint. And my children are going to grow up and see that legacy. And what a powerful legacy for them to see. Because 9 times out of 10, we grow up and your children are always surpassing you because you've never wanted to be real. My mom's been in the kind of same situation. Sorry, mom, love you. But, never been real sometimes. You know what's there? Don't tell me about her life. Don't tell me about her experience. Wasn't really transparent. You know the ones there that I'm your mother. Don't ask me no questions. Like she was on some next rowdy thing. She had so many different lines that didn't make any sense. Don't ask me big people questions. You know what's there? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. What do you mean stop asking big people questions? Mom, I'm asking you questions because I need to know you. I need to know your life. I need to know. But it was that, do you know what I mean, in the sense of we hold back so much. So what a powerful journey that you've been on. And
even if parents have done this, it's not like that. Everyone makes mistakes, but at least apologize, because that's one thing that I didn't get from my mum. I had spoken to my mum about this prior to me doing my video. And I felt like that was what made me do it, because I spoke to my mum. I spoke to, the person I'm seeing and all of that, like the person I'm with. And even he was saying to me, like, just do the video. Like that could help you, kind of thing. Like it might help you, you know. And I did it, and it's one of, like, you know, a lot of people have watched it, kind of, and it's got me here. So, you know,
I'm telling you, I saw it. You know, I was there. I was just like, oh my days, you came out strong. I'm not gonna lie, you came out strong. Even the time, I don't know, you get me. I think he's like, I got punched when I was just like, wait a minute, you went straight to the deep end. I got punched. I was just like, what? And then you came, and the way you presented yourself, the way you was transparent, the way you was open, the way you was just like, you know what? I'm not doing this for clout. I'm not doing this for fame. I'm not doing this for any of this. This is just my story. And it was so important. And if you haven't, guys, please go onto our page. What's your YouTube page called, please, so they can actually go and subscribe it?
Or on that one, just Queen Bougie. Subscribe to me, guys.
It's Queen Bougie. Get me. Subscribe to her. She's going to be... Say that again, because you kind of like faded out a little bit.
Like Queen, and then Boujee.
There you go. You get me. Queen Bougie. Queen Bougie. Listen, Queen, listen, thank you so much for even coming, blessing us today. You know, like, it's always a pleasure. It's my pleasure is more than anything, because it just goes to show that once we start allowing ourselves to share our experiences, the amount of people that we're able to help and change. So thank you for saving and changing someone's life today. And it's really, really important. So first and foremost, let me give you a round of applause. Give her a round of applause, guys. It's amazing. Listen, 10-10 for Queen. You know what's there? But yeah, we've got like literally a couple of minutes before we fade out. Is there anything that you want to talk about, discuss, promote, do, say, anything?
Just follow and subscribe to me. That's all I care about. And if you ever need any help, my messages are open, ladies. Men as well, because men have mental health too.
Of course, I love that. I love that. Sometimes don't be able to talk to a woman, guys, because sometimes even as men, we feel uncomfortable to talk to men. Men feel uncomfortable to talk to women. But sometimes there is another process that you can get from a woman as well. And men, don't be afraid to talk to other men. So, you know, I always do it. They always jump in my DMs as well, and, you know, just telling me their problems, and, you know, and I just told them always at the same time, you know, the one thing that I always say to men, you know, was that, are you good? And I think 9 times out of 10, we don't call people up and just ask them, are you good? You know? Like, you know, the first thing you call someone, you know, you are, oh, you never guess what? Like, all right, hello, maybe, and maybe ask me how I'm good. I might be feeling in one of those low days. Yeah. I might not always be the jump around Chris. All my friends know me as jump around Chris, jump around Chris. That's why I've got so many great friends that they just genuinely just call me out of the blue and just be like, you good? And I'm all thrown back. I'm like,
wow, that's nice. What?
Yeah. I'm good still. And like, no, but are you good though? And I'm like, I'm waiting for them to say, can you do me a favor? And there's no, I just want to call you to check in, and sometimes it's nice just to check in. So yeah, check in. If you need to check in, jump on Queen's page. If you need to check in with me, jump on my page. Someone's like, just keep doing you, babe, and staying strong. Come on, we know this, man. Powerful. Someone said powerful. No one's there. Shout out to be in the house. Yeah, man. Wicked.
Thank you for having me.
No, well, thank you. Well, guys, that was another great show. Real Talk 2 seasons. Make sure that you jump on the live, and make sure you share it as well. So I know a lot of people are going to be jumping back onto the live afterwards as well. And yeah, literally, when you're ready to do this loose women and everything, I'm going to be a special guest on one of those topics. I'm coming to light up the flames and get the fire out. But yeah, we're ready. So yeah, and before you go, obviously, this is something that I've just thought of. Give us a tune to go away with. What's the tune of the week for you, or the tune of the month? What are you banging at the moment? What's in your playlist? One song. What's one of my one songs? What song am I just doing the most with right now? What was there? You know what I'm doing the most? You know Chris Brown, Chris Breezy. You got it. That one there, I'm doing the most with Chris Breezy. I'm banging that in the car. Like, it's a lot. It's getting out of control. You know what's there? Chris is doing a lot of stuff for me. So yeah, Chris Brown for me. That's the one that I'm banging in the car at the moment. But what about you?
You know what? No, do you know what? We're gonna do it for flipping the UK artists, because the US.
I know. I should have. You're doing it wrong now. You're doing it wrong.
Let's think. Who's dropped some? Do you know? That I got. I did a Unknown T and that
Millions.
That's it.
No, you know what? No, that's not fair. I want to take that one. I want to take it back. I don't want Chris Breezy. No, you're taking
it back. Jagged Edge.
No, that was a banger. And the only reason why I like it because they put the Jagged Edge little sample. Bling. I said, yes, man, them. You got a little roots on culture. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll pick you up. You won. All right, cool. You won that one. You picked a UK artist and you actually picked a banger still. Guys, if you haven't, check it out. That is a banger still. Unknown T.
But they blocked it.
They blocked it?
Yeah, copyright.
Oh, so they did. I thought they remember the copyright that made it happen properly.
This is
Because I heard the chat was fire.
Fire. Was that? Oh.
Listen, fire for them. And you know what? The UK is coming up still. And I'm not gonna lie, that guy Millions is helping me to like Drill. I'm not gonna lie. You know what's there. Don't get me wrong, he needs to change two lyrics a look a piece, you get me? Because some of them are sounding devilish, you know what's there? Like you get me? I think he's got one called Bada or something, you get me? Like he's talking smack, you know what's there? I was like, but I love his tone, you know what's there? He's got a look of action, you get me?
Yeah, he's sick.
So, all right, cool. Saying that, and you get me. Well, we just named the track to everyone, thinking they're gonna go to it, and now it's been taken down. Actually, we just
my reaction got taken down. The song's still there.
Oh, the song's still no reaction. So why did you? Oh, okay, because obviously they're saying to you, okay,
That's what.
oh, you can't get. But how does that work though? Because everybody reacts to videos all the time. I see these guys reacting to their videos all the time.
I know. I don't know. It literally, YouTube won't let me put it up. It says blocked. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna find out too. I've got a couple of YouTubers that react to videos and everything. I'm gonna find out like what's the ins and outs, because I know that some of them you have to stop it like 15 seconds. That's why they're always talking. I'm always watching the reactions. I'm like, why are you always talking? Yeah, cuz. Like, I'm like, why are you doing that? It's like I think they have to stop it so it doesn't go through. You know what's there? All right, cool. Ash, once again, man, thank you so much for joining the show. Yeah, guys, thank you all for as well joining in to Real Talk 2 Season Podcast episode 3. It's number 3. This is what I'm saying. You get me on the third. So yeah, thank you so much. 3 meaning 3 is the best. You get me so far. You get me the top 3. But yeah, thank you so much once again, guys. Keep supporting as well, and yeah, get down onto Ash's page, and I'll see you guys at the next episode. When's the next episode? I'm looking at my construction now. Like, where's the next episode? We don't even know. All right, cool. When the next episode is, he's giving me that look like, why are you doing that with me for? Right? We didn't arrange that. You know what's there? You didn't say that you're gonna be speaking to me. You didn't gonna let people know that there's someone behind me. There's someone behind me, guys. I'm not. Yeah. What? How do you think your stuff is popping up? I'm not doing nothing. Make something pop up. Take engineer, make something pop up. Just give us a message. There you go. See, there's someone there doing stuff, pressing stuff, making sure that your guys are getting the lovely messages going, you know what I mean? But guys, blessing and love to all of you guys. What a powerful show. And like I said, Ash, definitely I want you to jump on my live as well on Instagram when we do the Unfiltered Truth. We do Unfiltered Truth every Tuesday and Thursday. Just jump on one day. Yeah, jump on one day and just spit some fire on them, man.
Whenever. Oh, thank you. That's nice. Yeah.
Come on, big up always, man. So yeah, definitely support the cause, and yeah, we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a good day. Bye.
Take it easy, Ash. Take it easy, guys. Until next time, we out of here.